It's the same procedure as the first one, only we're closing both darts this time. Same concept applies to what we did last time to this one. So copy off your front and your back. This is where you draw lines down from the vanishing point of each dart down to your hemline. We're going to manipulate the dart by closing it, and we're going to be opening it up in the hemline, is essentially what we're doing. So we're not eliminating the dart, we are eliminating it, but we're opening it up. But do you see also, if you wanted a princess line, or a gourd skirt as it's called, this is where your divisions are. So cut up to, but not through, on both of the darts. This is still A and B, as it was before. And then we're going to measure in between A and B, and we're going to add half of it to the side seam, just like before. So this skirt is going to give you more flare than the other one did. Close the dart. Tape it. We will stabilize it. Now we'll do this one. Same thing, just like you had before. If you think logically, if you took this one and copied it off, you'd have half of this done. But you don't have to start from scratch. Just make sure this one is correct. But I'm essentially applying both of the, well, you'll see. I'm remaking it, essentially, only that other dart is closed. So if you already have it, you could technically just use this one to create this one. See, now I have cut it. So again, measure between A and B. Add half of it to the side seam. This is where I've my downfall. Because I've cut it off and I didn't leave enough there. So I'm going to go up here, because I'm going to need it there too. And I will cut myself a piece that I can tape onto this one. Again, the flare can start wherever you sort of want it to start. So I don't have my hip line, but hip line is a good place. So it would contour to the body, to the hip, and then it would flare from that point. You can also flare it from the waist, so it won't contour at all to the body, and it will flare out. You could have it where it goes in between your hip and the hem, and it starts to flare there. Totally up to you. It's whatever look you want. In a classic one, it's going to probably be from the hip down. Again, I don't have a hip on my pattern. You guys do. So that's the back. So the hip is roughly like 7 inches down. So right there. And that'll be my notch also. So you're adding the flare just like you did before. I'll add it from here. So it's going to contour towards on the body. It's going to follow the shape of the body and then flare from the hip out. Again, you can start up here if you want to. And whatever the length of this is the length there. Making sure that this is 90 degrees. That's essentially what it is. And then it should blend back in to your line there. Stabilize all of this. Obviously, you can use a much longer piece of paper. Let that be natural. So it's sort of familiar to you. It's the same thing that I just did, only I closed the other dart too. But I'm not doing anything with that dart. It doesn't change anything. We don't use it to add flair to it. There is an extra step on this one, and I'm now going to do the same thing to the back piece.
Wait, so we only get 1/2 of just one of the darts?
1/2 of this, A and B, is added to the side seam, just like we did before. I don't care about that one. I've closed it up. We've added more flair, but we're only using this one to add the flair there. Back is done exactly the same. So I've already drawn the lines, but square lines straight down, so whatever the distance is from the vanishing point to your center back is the same distance that I measured over here, and then I figured out what the distance is between the two, or from center back to that vanishing point, and then marked it out here, and then drew lines down. Cut up to, but not through. We're essentially manipulating the darts in the waistline and moving them into the hemline. You can call it what you want, but that's essentially what we're doing. You can say you're adding flair to it. Same concept. And this could be done as one person in here knows. You had the flair in your dart manipulation. You did the flair.
Yeah.
Which was sort of the same concept. So the darts are no more, we just pretend that they don't exist. Because they're essentially in the hem creating the flare. Now note also that I'm closing the dart. Now last time we only closed it enough to equal A and B from the front, correct? But now we're eliminating the darts altogether, so we're not going to pay attention to that. That is why we have another step to make sure that it's balanced, because we're not controlling it like we did before. So we're gonna just close both darts up. So we're not opening or closing it. We're not, adjusting it to what the front was doing. Get rid of both of them. They're now both down here. That same amount that we added to the front one for the side seam will be added here. Again, it's hip level. I don't have a hip line on here, so from there is where the flare is going to go. What? Whatever the length of the front was, and you can apply this to anything that you do. If you were making a big ball gown, the same concept applies with measuring out that length and making sure it's the same on this side. And then it would taper back down, assuring that this is 90 degrees. Otherwise you'll have octagon hem. What? Isn't that what I said? Just repeating me, just like on Monday you said something that somebody else said too. You're just repeating them constantly. And they're like, I just said that. I don't know, but now you're doing it to me.
Wait.
I don't remember either.
Monday was so
Maybe it was to Madeline. to stabilize. Stabilize the in-between. So now here's where it's a little different. What we're going to do is I'm going to place the front and the back on. I'm just trying to get a piece. Just enough to stabilize. Obviously fill in this too with your curve. I'm eyeing it, it's a little low there. With like a hip curve or skirt curve, the French curve, the end of the French curve, not the curved part, but the flatter of the sides. So what I need to do with the front, after you have it done, obviously you can do a better job, and I don't want you to sit here forever, as I'm going to line